St. Louis Acura is excited to announce the opening of our newly remodeled service lounge. We sell pre-owned vehicles of all makes and models and take pride in servicing what we sell. We offer free pickup and delivery service and a complimentary car wash and vacuum with every service. We also have a full-service reconditioning shop on site that can repair dents, bumpers, and wheels. As the nation's only 29-time Acura Precision Team winner for customer satisfaction, we work every day to make St. Louis Acura better than ever for you.
And welcome back into Weekend Joe, driven by Munganess St. Louis Acura here on ClaibsOnline.com. Joe Roderick here with you with a member of the 2001 and, well, many other years of St. Louis Cardinal baseball. He is the former pitcher, Andy Bennis, and he joins us now. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for the team.
I bet you, I mean, as you see this, this win streak going, and you see the memories, or you see the 2001 team being thrown out there, and does that bring back all those memories from 20 years ago?
Yeah, my age, it's hard to bring back memories, but yeah, it's super fun to be on a team that's really rolling. And I was in 2001. It was the worst year by a long shot in my career. I wasn't really pitching, but to be a cheerleader on that team and to watch the guys and the excitement, it's just super fun. And there's just something different about, we know we're going to win. A lot of times you think you're going to win the games, right? But when you're winning like that, you're figuring out ways to win, and you're down 5-0, no big deal. And when I look back, the first team that I was on like that was Seattle. I got traded there in '95. With Griffey and Edgar Martinez and going to stop. Just crazy good in September. And to win 12 games in a row is really hard. And so excited for the team.
Earlier this afternoon, when they won that 12th in a row, it's a game they started down 5-0. They were down 4. Wainwright gave up a grand slam in the first inning, and they're immediately down 4-0. When you're on a roll like that, and you see, okay, 5-0, is there still that, I guess, buzz in the dugout that, oh, this is nothing, we can come back from this?
Yeah, just kind of chip away. Hey, let's get a run. First of all, for a starting pitcher, hey, he's not the only one that's given up 4 in the first inning. And won't be the last, but, just try to get a 0. Give the guys an opportunity to get back in the dugout. They've been swinging the bats great. A lot of guys have gotten big hits. And so the pitcher's job is just to try to get some zeros. And they gave up, 1 run the rest of the game. And it gives your team an opportunity. And when you do, you just don't want it to get so far out of control, especially in the mid innings. It makes it tougher. But early in the game, guys have 9 innings, 8 innings to come back, and they certainly did it. So that momentum is just huge. You can't, it's hard to put your finger on it, but guys just believe, and somebody's going to do it. It's not the same guy every day, but somebody's going to get it done.
You guys did, you had your run. The 2001 team had it in August. This one, this is happening. We have a handful of games left in the season. This is a team that we've been waiting to see this from this team all season long. How difficult is it to do this in the month of September, late September?
Well, and they've done it against all the teams that we're trying to get to the playoffs or are going to be in the playoffs. And that's incredible. Okay, full transparency. I was talking about I was at a speaking engagement maybe 2.5 weeks ago. 2.5 weeks ago was a little different story, right? And I said, man, they're 500-ish, and a couple teams are going to have to get the flu for it to happen. And they didn't get the flu, but the Cardinals have just figured out a way day in and day out. And when you're on a roll, if the starting pitcher is rolling, you might win 2-1, 2-0, 3-2. And when the starting pitcher has a tough day, you're going to win 8-5 or 8-7. And it just seems like it's whatever needs to happen, whoever needs to step up, those big plays happen. And I saw Goldie hit a 2-run shot to tie it. And, your big guys are coming through at the right time. And I know he's been hot, and everybody else is just putting their piece into the puzzle. And super fun right now. Super fun. Those guys can't wait. They wish there was a game They wish there were 2 games tonight for sure.
Well, that's the thing. They have 2 tomorrow against the Cubs. I mean, the Cubs just tore everything down, and the Cubs have a chance of getting a top 5 pick for as bad as they've been playing. And the Cardinals right now, they should be really tripping over the bat rack tomorrow.
Well, you would think so, but it's always tough. I mean, think about who they've played. With Cincinnati, they're playing for a lot. The Mets, the Padres were playing for a lot. Those teams are playing tight. I mean, they're playing for something. The Cubs are like, what the heck? We're going to lose all these games. The players aren't worried about a draft pick. They're just going out there and letting it fly. And a lot of times that type of team is tougher to play because they don't have anything to lose. They already, their season's over with. So it'll be interesting to see how these 4 games go because you don't want to say you're more motivated to play against Milwaukee. The rivalry will help, but the Cubs they're just not very good, right? And the tendency is, man, we've been going so good, and now we're playing one of the teams that is not very good. The tendency, human nature, is you're going to let down a little bit. But they have enough veteran guys to hopefully not let that happen. I'd be surprised if they didn't continue to play really well.
It was after the game today, they took the bus down to Chicago. Any stories from your playing days taking the bus from Milwaukee to Chicago to Milwaukee?
Well, it's more times than not. We didn't always play Milwaukee and Chicago. I think it maybe happened once, but
yeah, that's right. I mean, the Brewers would have been in the American League back in when you started. Yeah,
most of those fun bus rides were like from the airplane to the hotel at 1:30 in the morning, and guys had had a few adult beverages, and so guys were loose and having fun. And those rides are so much more fun, just like the flights when you win. And when you've won that many games in a row, everybody's in a good mood. Nobody today, I guarantee you, had a bad day or was feeling bad about it.
A roster with Edmonds and Klein on it. I can't imagine.
Oh, Kleiner was my locker mate. And it was my locker and an open locker. And my son, Drew, at the time, he was 11 or 12, right towards the end of my career. And then Kleiner. And when the kids weren't in the clubhouse, I wouldn't want my kid to be around Kleiner. But when they were, he was the favorite guy of all the kids because he was like a little kid. But he liked to have some fun, and some of it was probably borderline inappropriate, and we can't, this is a nice show, so we can't talk about that, but those guys would mix it up, and just a lot of fun. Guys just kind of have to let down. You're on such a high plane. You have so much adrenaline, and it's always fun when you win to, be able to hang out and music's on and guys are hooting and hollering. And if you lose and things are going bad, you could hear a pin drop. So it's always better to win.
I think Edmonds, I've worked with Edmonds before, and I think one of the things he said was, "Thank God there weren't smartphones."
Right. That's for sure. I'll leave it at that. That's for sure. Yeah, there's it's just a different age today with everything, all the media, social media, and the game's different. Players have kind of grown up with a different culture. I say the game's different from how it's perceived, how the players go about it. I don't think the game's changed that much. They still have the same distance on the mound and the bases, and strike zone's a little bit different, up and down rather than side to side. But you still have to go out and execute. You have to make pitches and hit balls, and it's always more fun when you do it effectively like they have. And they're on an incredible roll, and hopefully they can keep that steam going to whoever they're going to have that one game playoff with. Whoever it is, it's going to be really hard.
It's I didn't realize this before until you and I started talking before we recorded the interview tonight, but Adam Wainwright this afternoon got his 2,000th career strikeout. I didn't realize you ended your career with exactly 2,000.
I did. It was against Milwaukee, the final day of the season. We were trying to win the division against Houston. And so I started the game. I'd been pitching amazing. And I strike out the first guy, the leadoff guy, Ryan Christensen. The only reason I know is I struck him out again, and that was my 2000th guy. But I was having back spasms, and I'm like, man, I struck out the first guy. I'm like, I just need one more, and then I'm good. And it's the 5th inning. I struck him out on a 3-2 slider. Matheny threw the guy out running from first to second, and the inning was over. I got the ball, and I was really having trouble with my back because I had a lot of knee trouble, and knees affect back. So I went up to bat, and it was the last game of the season, full house. They put up, Andy just had his milestone 2000 strikeout. I grew up a Cardinal fan, and I grew up going to games. And so I love the Cardinals. They were my team. And it was just so super cool because got a standing ovation. And really, I saw a video of it the other day. Someone put it on Twitter, and it kind of got me. I was just kind of had my head over my hand over my face because it was emotional. And I actually didn't pitch the next inning because my back was bothering me. I took my at bat. Tony told me, hey, just stand there, see if you can go pitch. Don't worry about hitting. But it was the coolest thing as a Cardinal. And so I sent a tweet out today to Waino. I said, hey, welcome to the club, man. It's hard to get there, and it's hard to strike out one guy. You get to 2000, that's doing something really good. So I'm happy for him.
And I love that you knew exactly what place you were all time for strikeout.
I think when I ended my career, I was like 80th or so, and now I'm like tied for 85th. And so David Price passed me this year, but I went through and was looking down. There's not that many, there's like a handful they'll go by me, but then it'll be a little while. So we'll see. I'll stay in the top 90 for at least for now.
Yeah, and what Scherzer just reached 3,000 this year, and kind of looking ahead, and it's like he's not going to reach 300 wins. Like that is just a new number that is just impossible for anybody to get to. And when you look at some of the young pitchers today, it's hard to even kind of handicap who might get there.
Yeah, it would be hard to get to 200 wins for sure. And you got to stick around. I mean, think about it. The average career is around 3 years. Mm-hmm. And if you're really hard to win 15 games a year. Well, that's what, 15 games a year. You got to play 12, 13 or 14 years to get there. And that's if you win 15, if you average. So most of the guys don't play that long, right? Some of the guys do, but it's just really hard to stick around with health, and especially with the money that's thrown around today, guys just don't play quite as long. And so Waino obviously is an exception to the rule, Waino and Yachty, but we'll see. I think there's you're not going to see, you may never see another 300 game winner again. I don't know if who's even close. I mean, I don't think there's anybody really that could have that's young that could really jump up. You think Kershaw was going to? I don't have any idea how many wins he has, but it'd be shocking if he got anywhere close to that.
Yeah, that and 3,000 hits too, because I know Miguel Cabrera is like 40 away from that.
Right.
So it's kind of unknown if he'll ever get there. But you look at like who's next on that list, and it's not going to happen for a while either with 3,000 hits.
It's super hard. And like I said, guys don't play as long, and to get 200 hits in a season is a lot. It's a lot, especially in today's game, right? You have to do that for 15 straight years. And so you don't really, when you think of it about it that way, that's a lot of hitting. So, you never know. They're great players, and we'll see what happens.
20 years you've been retired now, and then today, Tony LaRussa, your manager for many of those years, made it back to the playoffs for the first time since that 2011 season, his first year back. Does any of what he's done this year managing the White Sox surprise you?
No, I sent him a text. I said, way to go, Skip. It's about time. But no, I thought when they announced that he was going to be the manager, I'm like, he's going to do really well with that team. I know initially some of the guys were like, man, I'm going to be me. He's an old guy. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm like, he's a player's manager. And as long as you don't do something to show up the team yourself, the organization for pitchers, pitch inside, but if you throw one up at the guy's head, he was going to, blow a gasket. As long as you play the game hard and enjoy it and have fun, and he's a really good guy to play for. And so I thought with that young group, they're very talented. I thought they had a good opportunity to win, and they have. And he's a good leader, and he'll get the most out of guys. Great managers, and he's one of the best ever. They know their players. They know what makes them tick, and he is so good at that. I remember, he'd be walking around during batting practice in the outfield, and he'd walk up and say, "Hey, Andy, you're pitching tomorrow, right?" I go, "I don't know. You make out the lineup, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, you got the Astros tomorrow," or whoever. He goes, "You are so good at burying that fastball in, and with Biggio, Bagwell, you're going to be able to tie him up and then get him out away." And he goes, "You're going to pitch great." And then he left. And he just knows he is in tune with everything that's going on. And he's so focused on today and how do you win today? And he'll give everything to the organization. He did it in Oakland. He did it here. He's doing it in Chicago, and great leader. Very smart.
Yeah, it's fun to see him back in the postseason. Albert will be back in the postseason, and the Cardinals doing whatever the heck they've done these past 2 weeks. Once again, too. Well, it's fun to be a baseball fan here in St. Louis. It was so hard for so many months this year, and then they just came on at the end, and they're doing what they've done for the past 2 decades.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing great. I hate that, hey, you're going to get a 1-game playoff, and then you're going to get Scherzer or Buehler or the lefty or one of the guys in San Francisco. Who knows? You're going to have to face a really good team and be on your game. But you know what? All you can ask for is you got to get a shot. And there's a whole bunch of teams that won't get a shot. And in 1 game, hey, you go out and do it, see what happens, and take your best shot and go from there.
See what happens. Andy, hey, thank you so much for taking the time to join and talk about some of those great memories and great teams that you were on.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in the next couple weeks, and go Cards. I'm a big fan.